Hey everybody, so we're going to start this chapter of this book, Stuff Matters. It is by a British guy named Mark Miodonik. He is a materials scientist. I didn't even know that that was a thing before I read this book, but he has a PhD in material science. And we're going to read through little pieces at a time, and then you'll answer a couple questions about those pieces, and then we'll move on. And I'm going to kind of try and make it fun. I'm going to read all the parts myself, and I'll try to be entertaining. But read along with me if you downloaded the file, or you can just listen to me read. That's fine too. But you might have to look back to answer some of the questions when you get there, okay? So here's the introduction to this chapter called Imaginative. While doing my PhD at the Materials Department of Oxford University, I regularly went to cinema matinees. Watching films in dark, empty movie theaters soothed my brain in a way that no other form of relaxation could, especially on gray, rainy afternoons. One day, though, something strange happened. I had a blazing row with a stranger in the foyer. So row is a fight in British. Okay, so it's British English here. And foyer is like the lobby of the theater. The film being screened that afternoon was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, a classic Western starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Before the movie started, I was in the queue to buy a bag of candy when I heard the guy behind me bemoaning how sad it was that cinemas had lost their magic and become glorified shops selling overpriced confectionery. He was in the queue for this very same confectionery he professed to hate, I noted, but the inconsistency wasn't enough to override my British reserve. It's what he said next that really got to me. Why are all the sweets sold in plastic bags, he said. In my day, they were paper. The sweets were stored in jars and sold by the weight in paper bags. I did a half turn, clasping my bright orange, shiny packet of chocolate, met his eye, and, smiling, said, surely plastic has the most right of all materials to be in a cinema, especially in the context of this film. Maybe my tone was a bit condescending. It probably was. I was a PhD student and thought I knew quite a lot. But I was also keen to defend plastic, a material that is often misrepresented. I had picked the wrong person, though. He tore into me with the full force of an authoritative film buff. What poppycock was I talking? What did I know about cinema at my age? He had lived and breathed in its golden age. Cinema was about the stars of the silver screen, the flickering lights, the velvet seats, and the whir of the projector. He didn't listen to a word I said, and in truth, he was probably right not to. Whatever the factual basis of my argument, I didn't have the language to convey it in a meaningful way. In the end, we both went into the cinema scarlet with rage and sat at opposite sides of a largely empty auditorium. I breathed a huge sigh of relief when the lights finally went down. I have often thought of that humiliating episode and wondered how I could have defended plastic more effectively. I have come to the conclusion that the only way he would have heard my argument is through the medium that he valued most, the visual language of cinema. So here it is, a screenplay to settle the argument that I lost about the relevance of plastic candy wrappers to the film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. At times, my rudimentary screenplay and its relevance to my cinema foyer argument are perhaps a little obscure, so each scene is followed by explanatory notes. All right, so now we're going to kind of see his argument about why plastic definitely belongs in the movies, and especially the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.